the 60s, she did a test. There was a black doll and a white doll, yeah. And it was young children. They had to say which one is the evil one or which one is the bad child. So the black children were choosing the black child as the bad one and the white one as the good one. So it just went to show that from a young age, this is something that you're being taught.
And even at the end of it, she asked, okay, so which one looks like you? And all the kids were kind of
confused.
Yeah, like going on.
Because they had to say that the bad child looks like them. There's so many studies, like...
Before you go on, I think I had a similar experience. Back in the day, trade fair in Accra.
Yeah.
So I walked into this exhibition and there was a painting of Jesus Christ. And he was black.
Okay.
I was so furious. I'm like, where's the artist?
Yeah.
How? I'm like, how? How do you paint him black? I don't understand. Isn't he white? Isn't he a Jew? Why is he black?
Yeah.
Then I think he asked me a question. I don't really recall the question. I stepped back and I was like, why can't he be black?
Yeah.
Does he have to be, white to be good?
Yeah.
So ever since then, I'm Christian.
Yeah.
So I went to church. I was like, Charlie, this teachers of Jesus need to go. It's not him.
You know, the thing is, coming here, I don't like to offend anyone, because I think that especially the elders, it's difficult to change the mind of the elders, but it's good to teach the young ones coming up. And it's like people were saying, why don't I come to their church? And I said, well, the church that I used to go to, it didn't have like a white Jesus, so I prefer not to go. They were like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. So I said, so why don't they take it down then? And they're like, oh, it's nothing. And the thing is, to even mention a black God is like blasphemous. It's like an insult. And the thing is, in the scriptures, because being in the West, I kind of, they say that the Bible is the thing that enslaved our people and all of this thing. But I've realized that it was a different Bible. They took out, obviously, the eye for an eye, the eye for an eye and all of these things. They didn't want any kind of uprising. So these things weren't in the Bible that they brought to Africa. And in reading some of the scriptures, I realized that it's in Africa. Even Jesus he hid in Egypt. And Egypt, it was black faces. That's a fact that everyone has put out. So how can a white man hide in a black land? And so all of these things, I think it's not to force down people's throats, because sometimes it's more painful to try and take away something that they feel that is their salvation. It
needs to be done. I'm Christian, and what you're saying, I also believe same. I mean, how can a white, boy and family go and hide in, Egypt when Egypt and Israel are really, they were kind of close.
Yeah.
They would have given him up.
Yeah.
So definitely, he went there to hide. And I don't know why. When you go to Revelations, it's clear the description of John of Christ is a black man.
Yeah.
Is a black man.
Yeah,
so,
with the locks and everything. Yeah.
So I feel, there's a lot of ignorance, and people haven't been critical about their own scriptures. If they have been critical enough, some of these things, their eyes would have been open about it, and they would know. I think I fight with my pastors all the time.
At first, it's like at first coming here, I was a totally different person, to be honest, because coming through Accra and every other store is Jesus something, everything Jesus, and then the white Jesus. I couldn't understand. It's like coming from the West, it seems like they're more in tune with respecting and knowing self than in Africa. And people saying to me, why are you here? Like, it's much better abroad and all of this thing. not knowing that freedom, there's nothing, that freedom is like, you can't give someone enough money
To make them free.
to be enslaved. Like, so that's what I see Africa as. I see it as freedom, and I see it as change, because I could only imagine doing what I'm doing here over there, because the system is different. The system isn't made for us to succeed. You can succeed. There's people that are rich, and because it's who you know, and then some people, they have to work extra hard and behave extra white, or, you know, there's ways of making it. I feel that I can make it anywhere in this world, but I know that there's agreeable environments for us as a people to think properly, to behave properly. You know, abroad, the rap artists and different things, what they are putting out for the children, it's like, it's kind of ruining our future. But it's a system that has been locked down. So for me, it's like, they've got that. Go to an environment where you can create what your idea of heaven or, you know, change is.
Yes, yeah.
And so coming here as well, at first my daughter is so funny because her grandmother was saying negative things about Ghana, which is quite typical of Ghanaians. Like, they feel you've made it when you're abroad, and even if you're with somebody that is not an African, that's even better. Like, you know, bringing salvation to the family. Not that her grandmother's that far, but I'm saying I've heard a lot of Ghanaians thinking that way, that if you're too black, why didn't you choose someone lighter to mix with or whatever? So
Whoa, hold on. That one almost went by without me catching it.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They actually believe that when you're dark like I am, I need a lighter skinned person.
Yeah, it's like you're a salvation. If you can bring someone white into the family, it's like you've rescued us. Like,
But I don't think they know that they're thinking it like that.
Somebody who has maybe a better financial standing.
Right, but it's always equated to whiteness.
yeah, because I
And
don't
you
think
mean
you
it's
can be. No, there's
I've
some
heard-
poor
Like I've heard,
white people that come here. If you choose one as a Ghanaian, your family will be happy, because
Right.
it's like you can have light children and this straight hair and Jesus.
and even I've
You've
heard
given
that
birth
they'll
to-
treat you better and
Yeah.
all of these.
But it's not just in Ghana. You know, a lot of people think that the issue is here. In Jamaica, it's the same thing with the bleaching and
The
all of
bleaching,
this.
yeah.
They have got it to a science. They will wrap cellophane, they'll put the cream on and wrap.
My own man
And
is
that
one
expert.
big issue. Buju Banton.
Yeah,
They love
So-
me browning.
yeah, exactly.
you know, the
So
whole town
so it's
went
not
crazy
that,
bleaching.
it's just that, you know, when you're abroad, you think that Africa hasn't been touched like abroad.
It
And
has
then
been
coming
touched.
here,
Looking at what I see about Jamaica, I've not been there, so what I see about Jamaica and see about Ghana is like, these people, why?
yeah,
Like, we are cousins.
it's-
Like, you
The-
know, there's a lot of.
I haven't done my studies fully, but what I did hear was that the Jamaicans were like the rebellious slaves.
Mhm.
So they left them there.
Yeah.
And there's a place where the people live in the hills, and they still speak broken tree.
And the
And
Maroons.
yeah, exactly. And so there's a connection with even certain, I'm learning more and more from being here, there's certain words that is the same.
Yeah.
So we're really the same people, but I can see that the Jamaicans definitely were the ones that were harder to control. To me, it's like it's a puzzle, and it's about putting us all together, because I think Jamaica is a bridge as well. When I first came here, I was saying I'm a Ghanaian, because when you're abroad, it's like you know that you're African, but because of all the slavery and the splitting and the mixing, you don't know where. So I was thinking that Africa has it figured out. Each person knows their tribe, and I didn't know that there were so many tribes and so many. It's like you can be a foreigner and be like, there's what, 67 different languages.
Yeah, well, 62 something, yeah.
So at first I was saying I'm a Ghanaian, and people were like, how? You're not Ghanaian, because they're listening to mine. So I'd say, well, if you sent your child abroad and they studied and they came back speaking like me, would they be a Ghanaian? They said yes. So I said, so why am I a Bruni? Like, why can't I be
a Ghanaian? No, because you have an accent.
So at that time, it meant a lot to me to be accepted. And then I just, like, one day I was thinking, it's like, you know what? I'm a Jamaican, because I am an African, period. Like, I don't have to confine myself to Ghana. I'm an African, I'm a Jamaican. So I started telling people.
Interesting.
You're black man.
Yeah, exactly.
I am on a lot of Jamaican pages.
Yeah.
And when I say I'm Ghanaian, they get so mad. Why do you want to be a Jamaican? Go back to your country. I'm like, you people shut up.
Yeah.
We are one and the same people.
Thank you.
So what's all
So
this?
it's like I said, I'm not going to limit myself. So when I was saying I'm a Jamaican, they were like, you're not Jamaican, you're African. Jamaicans came from here. And I was like, wait a minute. When I was saying I'm a Ghanaian, you were saying I'm not. Now I'm saying I'm a Jamaican. Yeah. You're saying, oh, but you're a Ghanaian.
Own my own
people. So, and then I know that's one thing that coming from abroad is really painful to the people, that feeling of belonging. And to me, it's like, you don't have to limit yourself. The freedom that I got was not limiting myself, because even within Ghana, I know that the Northerners are classed as a certain way, and then the people Ashanti, so there's racism within Ghana, let alone me coming from abroad saying that I'm a Ghanaian. So I realized that.
I'm surprised how Ghana, or let's say most African countries, still, we are still holding ourselves together, because there are a lot of divisions.
Yeah.
I'm a Ghana, right? Even in that we have those who are from Osu, those who are from Jamestown, those who are from, and even within Osu, you're either coming from Kinkawe, Alata, whatever.
Right, right. So in knowing that, it really helped me to realize that we don't have to confine ourselves, because it's like the body has so many different cells, but it's still the body.
Right.
And that's kind of how I look at us as a people, because I can go to, let's say, Tamale and see Jamaican faces. I can go to Accra and see, like, what do they call them? Fulani, like, looking. Yeah. So at first when they were calling me a Bruni, I was kind of offended, but I realized that there's a mannerism that you have coming from abroad. And even for me, I can be in a crowd of people and spot someone that is not from Ghana. They look different, they move different, so it's really helped me to know that there's something from within. We're all God's children, let's say that. And that's the bigger plan. And we all fit into that. For Halima, I was saying that she didn't want to come here at first.
I was going to ask her, how has life been here, like here for you? Like, you're young, probably want to go to the club or something.
No, definitely not now. But for me, I kind of enjoy the quiet life. I think at first, when I was a bit younger, I didn't really see myself in Ghana. It wasn't fast paced, and I liked the city life. Well, I did like the city life. But I think now there's so many different options. You can go to the beach and relax. You can go to the city and feel like you're abroad, and then come here to where it's like quiet and serene. So I think now I'm just enjoying the peace, and I enjoy being able to travel to the different places when I feel for that, which isn't as easy in London, especially because it's cold.
London cool.
I used to say to her, when I go and visit, I used to be like, why do you want to stay here? It's like cold, and then like in the winter, this used to, like, I think everyone has their own thing, but my thing was, because people love their pets over there, like when it's autumn or winter, the ground, you can't see what is under it. And I have a thing of dog's poo. So I used to be watching the pavement. It was just so, it's because it's a concrete jungle.
Yeah.
So I really, it was depressing, honestly. Wow. And then it let me realize that there's so many great people abroad, but their brains hasn't thawed out. They haven't been in the right environment for their greatness to come out, because you have youth getting in trouble and all of this stuff. And I think that was another important thing for me, to bring the genetics home, even though at the time everybody is like against it, you know, it's dangerous, or, you know, they have their fears of what you're going into.
But that's the thing, it's even more dangerous over there than
exactly.
it is here.
Can you imagine?
So say for instance, my grandmother, it was like, oh, it's not safe and everything, and
the schools are backwards, that's another thing.
And she was living in one of the worst parts of London, but she felt comfortable with me visiting her there. But if I travel to Accra, she panics. So it's kind of, it's weird how the mind works.
So how was life like, you know, your first, let's say in your first month when you moved to Ghana?
My experience, because we were a group, it wasn't hard. Like
when you came solo, I mean.
Oh, okay. Okay, I could tell you about when I first got this land, because it was bush. That was 12 years ago.
I was going to ask why Boyem. I mean, look at that.
So, okay, so I was building in Sunyani. On our first trip, we had gone to Sunyani, and I saw it was so clean, and I loved it. So when I broke off from the group, I started building in Sunyani, and I was in Techiman, because I had some friends there. So come in here, Justice's father and someone called Nano Fori and Obin were the tour guides. So I was coming here for a visit. And when I came here and saw the rocks, I'm like, it's so beautiful. But I'd already committed to this. I was at foundation level and everything. And then I can't tell whether it was a vision or what it was, but everything, it was like, let's say a meditation, because I can't even remember how it came, but the picture of everything just came clear. Getting land and having a place to where I can help people, because in Sunyani it's just one plot. So it's like this whole, I drew the layout and everything, like what it could be. There was like, we were doing workshops and kente weaving, keeping the culture alive, like everything just made sense to me. So when I was offered land here, I asked more about it, and because of the environment, like I was sold anyway. So it's funny because they were showing me places because no one was here, and even coming from sorry, I get a bit excited. Coming from Mesodan, there was no houses from there to here. And then going to Boyem, the secondary school, which you'll probably see, that's where the first people were from where I am. This was farmland. So they showed me 5 different places, this being the last. But all the places were in town where everybody was. And I knew that's
work for you.
Not it, no. So when they came here, they were kind of, it seemed like they knew that, yeah, this isn't it. And I'm like, I stood at the road and looked at the rocks, and I'm like, this is it. They're like, oh, no, there's no electric, no one, it's dangerous. And I'm like, this is it. So I didn't realize that they used to call me Obadindin.
Obadindin.
Yeah, because because I guess I was doing things that men would do or whatever. I knew exactly what I wanted, and they'd be saying Ghanaians don't do that, or Ghanaian women don't do that, and it's like, I had to.
They were trying to get you to conform to the culture.
Yeah, which. Yeah, I couldn't. And it's good that I didn't, because...
I know you still don't.
Yeah, it's good. Well, it's like there's one thing about being respectful, and then there's a thing, I think that it's not healthy for the children and for young adults or whoever. I find that Ghanaians, they tell you what you can't do a lot, and they put a cap on children instead of encouraging them to explore, and then you can learn from them. In school, if the teacher is wrong, the student can't say, oh sir, you've made a mistake. It's like, unless you
your backside will be hot.
Yeah. So all of these things, I think as a people, it stifles us, because that's why children want to go abroad, and then they become something because they're allowed to think and express, and then they come back and they are like heroes. But I think that they gradually got used to me being capable, because it was mostly ideas. Obviously I can't lift blocks and stuff like that, but concepts. So pissed. Yeah.
Like, you're talking so much and you can't lift a block.
Yeah, and it's like this respect thing. Women, if you're a Ghanaian woman, I think it's different, because I've seen them talking to men roughly and even grabbing their waist and all kinds of things. But for me,
they're not paying the chop money. When you see that.
Yeah, they're quite aggressive. But for me, they're like, if somebody was supposed to, like, let's say a plumber or a mason was supposed to come and didn't call, 2 days later they turn up, oh, I had funeral or whatever, I'd be like, I don't need you anymore. And they'd be like, Achwa, patience, and all of this. And I'm like, why am I the wrong one? Because they didn't even call. You could pick up the phone even if you have a funeral. Right. So I realized that it wasn't one person that had these habits. It's a part of the culture.
It's a nationwide.
So, I was a bit too aggressive and wanting exactly, if you say you're coming, come. And then I realized that in them not coming, sometimes it would help me, because I would change the plan or something like that. So I started to kind of operate off of divine time, like when they turn up, that's when they're supposed to, and it helped me a lot, because I think that was painful. Like, So I understand, like, when people are building here, I remember at one time, people would send money, let's say, for cement. By the time they're ready to send the money, the cement has gone up. So I'd call them, oh, the price isn't that anymore. And they'd be thinking that I'm ripping them off, because they don't know that the system is like, it changes like that. It's like, another thing is people go on the internet. So someone in the Eastern region may be getting certain things, and so they think that me being here, I can do what they, and it's like,
no, it doesn't work like that.
I remember when my daughter was building, nothing about her building was regular. She wanted glass sinks, and I was saying to her, it's not that you can't get it.
What happened to that dream?
Cement. She'd go online and say, see, and send me videos, and it's like,
I still don't have a sink in my room because I'm waiting to get it made.
Wow.
It's still possible.
But if it was me, when she was abroad telling me, it's like people want you to do the impossible sometimes. Because I've seen it on the internet. the person's in Ghana just like you. Why can't you get it?
Yeah.
And even explaining the distance between here and Accra, it's like, oh, in Accra they have all of those things, but I'm not traveling to Accra to get it.
To go get them, yeah.
And I'm not a contractor. I just make it easier for people to connect with the builders and stuff like that. So,
okay.
But I've definitely seen that whole, it can't be done. Like sometimes you kind of have to think for the
people,
the builder or the person whose profession it is, because they've almost capped themselves.
they're
like,
not
oh, it's
used
not
to,
possible.
Yeah.
It's like how it is, and then sometimes you have to start.
Well, even in Accra, I think there are similar issues, but out here, I'm sure it will be worse.
Yeah.
Because they don't
The
have no
thing
cell
is,
phone,
though,
yeah.
over time, it's funny because they've adapted how they look at us now. Even Justice should be talking. How, you know, I've heard things that, this may be the first time he's hearing this, but because when I came, people not knowing why I settled here, I've heard that I'm coming to grow ganja. Mind you, there wasn't any walls at that time. People farmed on the land until we're ready to build.
Right.
So it was free. Even now, people can walk in the gates and walk around. But that's the thing about Ghanaians. They like to look at the negative rather than you're here for a positive reason. So it's like growing ganja. I've come to still the spirit of the stream.
What?
I've come because I've...
How?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's challenging to... Because it's painful when you know your intentions and then it's like the people are not seeing that you're here for them and to grow them. It's like I'm here because I've found gold on the land, so I'm building houses and I'm mining the gold in the night. Or I've heard all kinds of things, and I think it's only perseverance that has allowed the people to know that I'm not taking anything, I'm here, and it's to develop us as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, me and my husband were having a conversation the other day that Ghanaians have this thing of, they call blessings, they'll say that you sacrifice someone. If you're doing well, instead of saying that it's God that blessed you, they'll be like, oh, they sacrificed their, And so it's like, with that mentality, how can people succeed, or what is the encouragement for people to do well? Because it's always blamed on a negative thing. If Jesus came, they'd stone him for being a blasphemer.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, especially if he was black.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't judge you by your works or by what they know. It's kind of like this negative mind, but I think that it's only, to me, it's only the Most High that can get you.
I realize black people love, people that are evil than people that are good.
Yeah. And it's a self-hate.
And a similar story, I'm not trying to preach, a similar story played out when Jesus was when they tried to crucify him. They exchanged, Barabbas for him. Apparently the meaning of Barabbas is also Jesus.
Wow.
So they went in for the better Jesus.
Wow.
And crucified the good one.
Wow. Yeah, it's evident. For me, in any scripture or any book, I try and bring it to life, like how can it benefit me in life? And there's so many scriptural stories that make me think the Bible was based in Africa, because the same mentality is within the Bible. And then it's like all these trials and tribulations just to help a people and all of this other stuff. It's like, oh, that's Africa.